Hey, how you doing? A while back, a while back ago, I posted a video or an article, as it were, about making your own compost. And some of us were wondering, well, what do I get into it or whatever? What does it take to do compost tea? So this is going to be a real quick overview of how I make my compost tea and how simple it can really be. Uh, some of the items that I have. First, right here I have my little air pump. You can tell it has two outlets, and then the hose comes down. And down here you'll notice my in and out valves. On each one of these lines I have a check valve. It prevents water from coming back up into my pump and destroying my pump, and that's why it's there. If you keep it above it like I do here, I mean, the chances of it getting back into there are very slim. I just don't like taking those kind of chances. The water you see in here, this has been boiling for over 24 hours. And the reason I'm doing that, any kind of impurities that may be left, I'm allowing it to boil out. Now, as you can see here, there's an air stone, and there's two air stones on this one, just so I can get the maximum amount of boiling in the water as possible, because that's what's going to make it active. So the single air stone that you see here is what's going to go inside of what I use as my compost bag. So what we're going to do is separate that, get it out of the way, and you can see those two stones down there. I've got that weight on there just to keep them down. Now right over here is what you see is some compost from my compost garden out here. And I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to load up my this is a nylon. It's got the end zip tied shut. So what I do is I open up this nylon. It works great. I clean it every time I use it. But what I do is I take this compost. Now this compost is a mixture of different things. One of those things would be chicken manure, and this has been breaking down for quite a while. The compost is very rich, dark, and I just stuff it right inside of this bag like this. What I end up with is a bag like this full of compost. Okay? Now, compost in itself is not really going to be nutrients. What it does is it allows the nutrients that we put into our soil, our fertilizers, to get through to the roots and allow it to accept it better. Now, what you see me doing now, I'm adding. Now, this is just one thing I'm doing. It's an organic plant food. I just throw it in there with it, and here in a second I'm going to go ahead and mix it with my compost. And it's an organic, so it's not going to be something that's chemically bound. And basically what I'm doing now, mixing it all together. Okay? So, now that I've got it all mixed together, next step. I'm going to go ahead. Next key ingredient, now I've got this bag, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to take that stone, like you seen me talking about earlier, this stone here, the single line, and I'm going to put it and feed it right inside. Myself, I put it right inside the compost so that it can basically what it's going to do is boil inside of that compost and allow it to bring out all the compost, the nutrients that are inside of it. Okay, last but not least, I'm going to go ahead and drop this in.
Molasses, awesome. There goes my gingerbread cookies.
Okay, now basically what I've done, I've secured this to the bucket. This is just a 5-gallon bucket, and what I do is I take this molasses And what I'm going to do, I'm going to pour in about, and this is a small mixture, so I'm only going to do about, I don't know, a tablespoon and a half. Put that molasses in there, and that's the active ingredient to where all the enzymes are going to start working together. So once that's put in, I'm going to go ahead and stir it up. This stirring is going to get that molasses worked into the water. As you can see, working that in, the water's already went from clear to dark. And I got that down there, and that airline is down inside of the water inside of my compost bag, and it's making that compost that boil up with and mix with the molasses and the water. In about 24 hours, I should have a foam on top, and it should be sweet smelling. If it doesn't smell sweet, it's not good. You're going to have to start all over. That means all of the enzymes inside of your compost are dead. So you should have a sweet smell, and you should have a foam. Alright, and that's all there is to it. It's a very simple process, but the nutrients that you put back into your soil, the way that it amends your soil, is incredible. A lot of us are doing this, and I highly recommend that you do it yourself and add it to your pepper garden. For now, I'm out of here. Take care.